So, domestic violence survivor vlog part 4. So, I spoke about child abuse. I spoke about family violence and family abuse in court, using the courts for retaliation. That's something that my family did. But now I'm going to talk about partner violence. So, I was married, you know, and I'm now divorced. I've been divorced now for a lot of years. Um, it wasn't easy to get that divorce. Um, the experience that I had with my ex-husband was it was an abusive situation. You know, he was the type of person that had anger issues, anger problems. You know, punching holes through walls and pushing me and hitting and, things like that. You know, calling names. And it's crazy how, my dad, he used to treat me like that. And I ended up being with a guy who ended up treating me the exact same way. But he ain't treat me like that at first. We had a long engagement. And once we got married and I got pregnant, it's like he changed. It's like he did a whole 180. I felt like I was married to a stranger. So the abuse started with him once we got married and I got pregnant. You know, he told me that he hoped something happened to that baby. And that I didn't know back then that that was an emotional abuse when you're making threats to, an unborn child, or you're making threats to, or you're saying something that hurtful to purposefully hurt somebody. Like, that's emotional abuse, verbal and emotional abuse. And so I was going through a lot of that, just being blamed for all the problems in the marriage. He would blame everything because we got married. If he lost his job, well, it's because we got married. It's because of this, it's because of that. He wasn't ready. But he was ready to lay up on top of me, though, right? And get me pregnant. But that's neither here nor there. So, the anger that he displayed toward me, he eventually ended up having affairs, putting my life at risk. I had to have, STD testing and all of that because he was cheating. Ended up paying one of his ex-girlfriends to get an abortion. It's just the things that we go through as women, the things that we endure for love. And because I came from the church and I took my vows seriously, I was trying to make sure that I gave everything I had, that I tried to exercise Christian forgiveness, that I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, that I tried to be a good wife, that I tried to hang in there, tried to get him some help. But eventually, I realized that he didn't want help, he wasn't going to change, and I ended up having to help myself. So once he hit me, right, while I was holding my daughter, that was when the light bulb went off, and I finally started reporting things to the police, right? And they led me to a domestic violence agency called Safe Horizons. I started going to counseling, and eventually, once to put in for a divorce, is when the threats began to escalate. He tried to talk to someone else and online about killing me. That person called the cops, and ended up happening that I ended up getting my first order of protection, right? And I eventually had to end up going into a DV shelter with me and my 2 children. ACS treated us horribly. A lot of ACS workers do not know the realities of domestic violence. They don't know the realities of having an abusive, violent, narcissistic partner. And a lot of times when you're a parent trying to protect your children from further abuse, they're going to say that you're trying to turn or alienate your child, right? Your parental alienation, they're going to accuse you of that, trying to alienate your child, when in fact all you're trying to do is protect your children from going through the same violence that you've gone through, right? Especially if they're going to visit the father and the father is sending threats through the children, right? So, yeah, my life is pretty much an open book at this point, and I'm sharing my truth because these are some of the things that I've been through, and these are the things that have shaped me into the person that I am, you know? I hear men say online how black women are masculine and all this other bullshit. The reason why people are the way they are is because of the environment they live in and the experiences that have shaped them. If you have gone through violence like I've gone through, where you have to basically protect yourself from your own family, protect yourself from your own husband, protect yourself from the people that's supposed to be in your corner, and you go through a whole bunch of betrayal, you ain't gonna trust nobody, you're gonna be defensive, you're gonna become someone else. You can't stay the same after you've gone through situations like I have. You can't stay the same. You can never go back to being some naive, docile, soft person after you've been through the horror and the hell that I've been through. And a lot of domestic violence survivors have also been through. Dealing with police and courts and domestic violence workers, social workers. It's a lot that you go through when you go through these situations. Okay? ACS. All these different systems. And then the people in the systems, sometimes the systems don't work right and they don't know what the hell they're doing, some of them. Sometimes the systems work and sometimes they don't. And people go through stuff. And there are children that sometimes end up getting unalived on visits. You know, sometimes the men don't respect the orders of protection and they unalive or they harm the women. It's a lot. But in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I just want to say to all my domestic violence survivors, I stand with you. And don't forget to wear purple on DV Day. You know, because I'm a survivor. I survived it. And the other survivors have survived it also. And some are still going through it now. Domestic violence is a serious problem. It's a serious problem that needs serious solutions. Okay? So this is just, like I said, my vlogs. And as the month goes on, I'm going to continue to speak out. All right? Have a blessed one. Peace.